I never thought revenge would taste like turkey and cranberry sauce. But there I was, knife in hand, carving into the bird while my sister's eyes burned holes through my skull. She'd spent the last 10 minutes at that Christmas table lacing her compliments with barbs sharp enough to draw blood, calling me the family black sheep who'd finally crawled back from the gutter. What she didn't know, what no one in that stuffy Manhattan dining room knew, was that I'd spent the last 3 years sharpening my own blade, waiting for this exact moment to slice her world in half. It started 12 years ago, back when we were just a couple of scrappy kids from Queens, dreaming bigger than our rundown row house could hold. Our old man, Jack Harlan, had built Harlan Tech from nothing, a scrappy IT firm that patched software for Wall Street suits. He poured his soul into it, working doubles while Mom chased nursing shifts. Me? I was the golden boy, fresh out of NYU with a comp sci degree, ready to take the reins. Sarah, my little sister by 3 years, was the wild card, charismatic, ruthless, always one scheme ahead. She idolized Dad, but in that twisted way where admiration turns to envy. "You're the heir," she'd joke, but her laugh never reached her eyes. The betrayal hit like a freight train on a foggy night. Dad's company was bleeding cash, some glitch in the payroll system we'd overlooked. Turns out, it wasn't a glitch. Sarah had been siphoning funds, small at first, to fuel her coke habit and that string of bad boy boyfriends who promised the world but delivered bruises. When the auditors came calling, she panicked. Framed me instead. Faked emails, doctored logs, hell. She even planted a burner laptop in my apartment with the transaction trails leading straight to my IP. I took the fall, felony embezzlement, 5 years in Sing Sing. Dad died of a heart attack 6 months into my sentence, convinced his son had shattered everything he'd built. Mom followed a year later, cancer eating her from the inside while she whispered apologies through prison glass. I got out early for good behavior, but good behavior doesn't buy back a life. No degree meant no jobs in tech. Felons don't get callbacks. I bounced from gig to gig, dishwashing in Brooklyn dives, driving Uber through the snow-choked streets, sleeping on friends' couches until they ghosted me too. Sarah? She slithered away clean, inherited the scraps of Dad's estate, and clawed her way up the corporate ladder on charm and lies. Last I heard, she was VP at some fintech startup in Midtown, engaged to a rotating door of execs who mistook her venom for passion. But I never stopped digging. Prison gives you time to read, to network in the shadows, to learn that revenge isn't a punch, it's a virus you code into the system. I changed my name slightly, Harlan to Hale, dyed my hair, grew a beard, landed a night shift janitor gig at Apex Dynamics, the beast of a hedge fund where Sarah had just been poached as head of operations. Irony? Her golden ticket boyfriend, Victor Kane, was the CEO. The man who built Apex on the bones of ruined competitors. A shark in bespoke suits with a smile like a loaded gun. My first week, I mapped the floors, server rooms humming with secrets, exec suites reeking of cigar smoke and entitlement. Victor's office was a fortress, glass walls etched with frost patterns, overlooking the Hudson like he owned the river. I cleaned it last, always lingering to eavesdrop on his calls. He was sharp, paranoid, fired assistants for less than a sideways glance. But he had a weakness, loyalty. To the underdogs, the ones who'd bleed for the firm. I became that. Spilled coffee on a merger doc once, stayed till dawn retyping it. He noticed. "You're not like the others, Hale," he said one night, clapping my shoulder. Stick around. World needs more fighters. From there, it was whispers. I fed him intel, overheard gripes from the mailroom, rumors of leaks in compliance. Nothing traceable, just enough to make him trust the ghost in the mop bucket. Sarah waltzed in 6 months later, all legs and LinkedIn polish, sealing her eyes with Victor's ring on her finger. They announced the engagement at the company holiday party. Her arm looped through his like she'd won the lottery. I watched from the shadows, polishing silverware, my gut twisting. She spotted me once, froze mid-laugh, her martini glass trembling. "Tommy," she hissed later in the hall, grabbing my arm. "What the fuck are you doing here? Cleaning up your messes." Like always, I shot back, low and even. She laughed it off, called me a stalker, threatened to have security toss me. But Victor? He liked me too much by then. "Hale's family," he'd say, waving off her complaints. Family. The word burned. As Christmas loomed, Victor invited the Harlans, or what was left of us, to his penthouse for dinner. "Bring your brother," he told Sarah over brunch mimosas, according to the gossip I scrubbed from the executive kitchen. She agreed, smirking. "Oh, he'll come crawling." It was her chance to parade her triumph, to bury me under the weight of her success. What she didn't know was I'd already planted the seeds. Emails forwarded anonymously to Victor's secure line, redacted just enough to tease the truth. Transaction logs from Dad's old servers, scrubbed clean but pointing fingers. And a photo, Sarah, mid-20s, snorting lines off a mirror in our old basement, timestamped the week before the frame job. The dinner was set for December 24th, Eve of the Damned. I showed up in my one good shirt, the one I'd ironed with prison precision. The penthouse screamed money, 12-foot tree-dripping ornaments, a spread from Le Bernardin that cost more than my yearly rent. Victor greeted me at the door, all booming laugh and backslap. "Hale, glad you made it." Sarah said, "Your family?" His eyes searched mine, probing. "Something like that," I said, forcing a grin. Sarah hovered behind him, her red dress hugging curves she'd weaponized since high school, diamonds winking at her throat. Our eyes locked. Hers said, "You're dead." Mine said, "Not yet." We settled in, me at the foot of the table, Sarah to Victor's right, a couple of his VPs and their bland wives filling seats. Conversation flowed like the Pinot Noir, stock tips, Hampton's escapes, the latest crypto crash. Then Sarah turned it, her voice honey over razor wire. "So, Tommy's sorry. Hale now, what have you been up to since?" "Well, you know." She sipped her wine, eyes gleaming. The table tittered awkwardly. I could feel the air thicken, the VPs leaning in like vultures scenting carrion. Sarah had timed it perfect, post-appetizers, pre-entree, when everyone's buzzed but not sloppy. "You know," she pressed, her fork spearing a scallop like it was my heart. The whole misunderstanding with Dad's company must have been tough. Starting over as a janitor. She said it casual, like commenting on the weather, but her smile was a gut punch. The wives gasped softly. One VP coughed into his napkin. Victor's brow furrowed, his knife pausing mid-slice. He glanced at me, then her, the room's pulse quickening. I let the silence stretch. "Counting our bets, Mina steady." Hers rabbit fast under that flawless makeup. "Misunderstanding," I echoed finally, voice low. almost amused. That's one way to spin 5 years in a cell for a crime you committed. Sarah. The clatter of silverware hit like gunfire. A wife dropped her glass. Red wine bloomed across the white linen like blood. Victor's face hardened, his chair scraping as he half rose. "What the hell is this?" he demanded, eyes flicking between us. Sarah's laugh cracked. "Hi. Brittle. Tommy, stop. You're embarrassing yourself. Everyone knows you were always the screw-up. Dad's money? That was you chasing quick highs. Not me." Lies. Layered thick as the snow piling outside the floor-to-ceiling windows. But I'd prepared for this. My phone buzzed in my pocket. Timed alert. Victor's secure app pinging with a first drop, a scanned affidavit from an old Harlan tech accountant, the one Sarah had paid off to look away. It landed in his inbox with a soft chime only he could hear. His hand twitched toward his device on the sideboard, but he stayed seated, jaw set. "Explain," he said to her, voice like gravel. She waved it off, turning to the table with that performer's poise. "Oh, it's ancient history. My brother's got this delusion, thinks I framed him for embezzlement. As if I was barely out of college, interning at Dad's firm while he was the one with the gambling debts. Another lie, but it landed soft, painting me the villain, her the victim." The VPs nodded sympathetically. One muttered, "Family drama." "Huh." Sarah basked in it, her foot nudging mine under the table, a warning kick, hard enough to bruise. I didn't flinch. Instead, I raised my glass, toasting the ghost of our father. "To family," I said, locking eyes with her. "And the secrets we bury." The words hung, and for a split second, her mask slipped fear, raw and real, flashing before she recovered with a scoff. "Pathetic. Victor, can we get this over with?" He's clearly drunk. But Victor wasn't laughing. He'd slipped his phone free during her rant, thumb scrolling. His face drained of color, then flushed crimson. "Sarah," he said quietly, dangerously. "What's this about a $500,000 wire to an offshore account? In your name?" Dated the week before Tommy's arrest. The table erupted, gasps, whispers, chairs shifting. Sarah's wine glass shattered in her grip, shards glittering like her future. "That's forged. He's hacking you. Victor, some jailhouse trick." She lunged for his phone, but he yanked it back, standing fully now, towering over her. "Don't touch it. And don't lie to me." "Not in my house." I sat back, savoring the chaos I'd coded. But this was just the appetizer. The real feast was the backstory, the rod I'd unearthed layer by layer. After prison, I'd tracked her digital footprints, VPNs, dummy accounts, the works. Turns out, the money wasn't just for drugs. Sarah had funneled it to a clinic in Jersey, hush payments for an abortion she never told Mom about. The father, our cousin Mike, the one who'd OD'd 2 years after I went inside. She'd buried that too, along with the ledgers showing she'd cooked the books not once, but systematically. Bleeding Dad, dry to fund her climb. Revenge started simple, anonymous tips to her old employers. Enough to tank a promotion here, sour a deal there. But Apex? That was the endgame. Victor Kane wasn't just a mark, he was the perfect vector. I'd studied him, Forbes' profile painting him as the self-made king from Philly slums. But whispers in the janitor break room said different. Ruthless firings, a divorce that left his ex homeless, affairs that crushed careers. He thrived on betrayal's sting, turned it to fuel. So I became his confessor, the lowly ear that heard his rants about disloyal execs. Trust no one, he'd growl, pouring bourbon from a decanter worth my rent. Especially blood. One night, 3 months in, I'd lingered too long in his office, wiping down the desk while he paced, phone to ear, yelling at a board member. You think I built this on sentiment? Apex eats the weak. He hung up, spotted me, and, for the first time, really saw.
Hale.
You got a story? Everyone does. I hesitated, scripted pause, then spilled a sanitized version. Dead-end jobs. Family cutting ties. Omitted the sister. The frame. He nodded. Poured me a finger of scotch.
Skreeuwing.
Rise or rot. From there, access. Keys to the server room for maintenance. Logins to dummy accounts. I mirrored her files. One by one. Sarah noticed the heat building. Late-night calls I intercepted via the office VoIP, her voice shrill. Demanding Victor, handle that creep, brother. He brushed her off, too enamored with her boardroom bite. But doubt seated. I drop hints, a found sticky note on her desk with an old transaction code, a whispered leak about internal audits. She doubled down, gaslighting him at cocktail hours, me at stolen hallway glares. You'll never touch me, she'd hiss. I'm untouchable now. Christmas Eve. As the snow whipped against the windows, I knew the code was running. Victor's phone chimed again, second drop. The photo, time-stamped, with metadata intact. Sarah's face in the aftermath. Eyes wild. Mirror smeared. He stared at it. Then her. The woman he'd planned to marry in spring. Jesus.
Sarah.
Is this you? She crumpled then, not with tears but fury. It's nothing. A phase. Tommy's twisting it. He's the criminal. Not me. She rounded on me, voice breaking into a shriek. You stole everything from Dad first. The parties. The women. You think I didn't know about the hookers and the bets? I saved the company by taking the hit. Lies on lies. But the table bought none. The VPs were on their feet, wives hurting toward the foyer. Victor's thumb hovered over his phone. HR line. I knew the prefix. You're done, he said. Voice ice. Pack your shit. Effective immediately. She lunged at me then, nails raking my cheek before Victor hauled her back. Blood welled, hot and coppery, but I smiled. Sweet Jesus. It was sweet. The penthouse dissolved into pandemonium, a Christmas tableau gone grotesque. Sarah thrashed in Victor's grip, her red dress twisting like a flag of surrender, screaming obscenities that echoed off the marble floors. You bastard. You set this up. You're nothing but a con from the cages. Spittle flecked her lips, mascara streaking black rivers down her cheeks. The VPs hustled their wives out, coats snatched mid-chaos, murmuring about calling cabs and, what a shit show. One lingered. Phone out. Filming discreetly, tomorrow's TikTok fodder. No doubt. Victor released her with a shove. Not hard, but final. His face a mask of disgust. Get out. Security's on the way. He didn't look at me, not yet. Dialed with steady fingers. Voice clipped. Yeah. It's Kane. Escort MS. Harlan from the premises. Full deactivation, access. Email. All of it. Now. Sarah staggered, clutching the table's edge. Her eyes locking on mine. Hatred. Yes. But beneath it, A flicker of the girl who'd once braided my hair after mom's shifts, whispering we'd escape, queens together. You think this ends me? She spat. Voice raw. I'll see you both. Defamation. Stalking. I'll bury you deeper than Dad's grave. But her bluff rang hollow. Victor's machine moved fast. And she'd signed NDAs thicker than the snowdrifts below. She grabbed her clutch, heels clicking fury as she stormed toward the elevator, pausing to hurl her wine glass at the tree. Ornaments shattered, lights flickering like dying stars. The door dinged shut behind her, sealing the silence. Victor sank into his chair, rubbing temples, the Scotch decanter appearing like magic in his hand. He poured 2 glasses, deep ambers that caught the firelight, pushing one toward me without a word. The VPs had vanished. It was just us, the ruined feast cooling between. Hail, he said finally, voice gravel-worn. Or should I say Harlan? Start talking. All of it. I sipped, the burn steadying nerves I'd schooled for this. No point in half-truths now. I laid it bare. The frame job. The prison ink still fading on my knuckles. The nights I'd mapped his office vents for optimal drop spots. Omitted the abortion angle. That was Sarah's skeleton. Not mine to rattle yet. Victor listened. Face unreadable. Fingers drumming the linen. When I finished, he leaned back, exhaling slow. And you played me. The coffee spill. The late nights. All an act. Not all, I admitted. You're a prick, Victor. But a fair one. That's why I chose you. He barked a laugh, bitter as the booze. Flattery after the knife? Ballsy. But she deserved it. Deserves worse. His eyes darkened. Ghosts of his own betrayal surfacing. The ex-wife who'd cleaned him out. The partner who'd sold secrets to rivals. Family, he sneered. Worst con of all. He didn't fire me. Didn't call security. Instead, he topped off my glass, toasting 2 fallen angels. By midnight, as sirens wailed distant below, he offered me her desk. Interim ops head. Prove you're not just a grudge. I accepted, the weight of it sinking in. Revenge delivered. But the aftertaste? Ash. The next weeks blurred into a fever dream of power. Apex's halls buzzed with whispers. Sarah's abrupt exit spun as personal reasons, but leaks spread like flu. I moved into her corner office, the one with the Hudson view, deleting her files with clinical detachment. Victor kept his distance, watchful, but trusted me with the reins. Mergers greenlit, teams reshuffled. I was good at it. Prison hones efficiency, turns desperation to drive. Board meetings became my arena, suits tailored on his dime, my voice carrying the weight I'd earned in silence. But Sarah didn't fade. She haunted the edges, voicemails deleted unread, emails from burners laced with threats. You stole my life.
Tommy.
I'll take yours. Then the calls stopped, replaced by shadows, a car tailing me home to my Astoria walk-up. Trash cans rifled. Paranoia? Maybe. But one night, keys jangling in my lock, I woke to the door creaking. Grabbed the bat from under the bed. Old habit, heart hammering. Footsteps padded soft, then froze. Tommy? Her voice. Small, stripped bare. I flicked the light. There she stood, coat dusted with snow, face gaunt under street lamp glow.
No makeup.
Hair limp, the queen dethroned. What the fuck? I growled, bat loose but ready. She raised hands, empty, Not here to fight.
I
need help. The words choked out, pride shattering. Victor had frozen her assets pending investigation, his lawyers circling like wolves. No job. No references. She'd burned bridges, torching mine. Pity stirred. Unwanted. A worm in my gut. Help. After what you did to Dad. To me. She sank onto the couch. Elbows on knees. Head in hands. I was scared. The money. It was for Mike's rehab. Then the baby, she broke. Sobs racking. Baby. The clinic payments clicked. Our cousin's kid. Erased before it breathed. Dad would have killed me. You were strong, I wasn't.
So I pushed.
Lies still, but laced with truth. Mike had been her anchor. The one good thing in our shitstorm youth. His OD hit her harder than she'd admit, guilt fueling the spiral. I lowered the bat. Anger fracturing. You destroyed us. For what? To play executive. She looked up, eyes red-rimmed. To survive. Like you are now. The mirror stung.
Vi tar tjejet till Dawn, halting konfessions.
Half apologies. By coffee. She'd crashed on my couch. A truce fragile as frost. Victor called at 8. Voice edged. She reach out? HR flagged a breach. I covered. Instinct or idiocy. Nothing. Clean. It became routine. Her crashing sporadically. Me feeding her leads on freelance gigs. Victor promoted me permanent. But suspicion simmered. He'd installed cameras and ops. For security. Sarah's presence gnawed. One slip, and the house of cards tumbled. Yet I let it ride, telling myself it was leverage, not softness. Spring thawed the city, cherry blossoms choking the alleys. Victor proposed a merger with a rival firm. Big money, bigger risks. Sarah, scraping by on ghostwriting, overheard me venting over takeout. Sabotage it, she murmured, eyes alight. Frame them like I framed you. Poetic. Temptation coiled. Dark and sweet. But Victor? He'd given me wings. Betray him now, and I'd be no better than her. The decision loomed, controversial in its marrow. Loyalty to the man who avenged me, or the sister who'd birthed my rage. As board votes circled, I prepped the pitch, clean, by the book. But late one night, alone in her old office, I found her hidden drive, files on Victor. Embezzlement. His own, siphoned funds to offshore lovers. Mistresses with tastes for yachts. The shark had teeth turned inward. My hand hovered over delete.
Keep it?
Weaponize? The twist tightened. Revenge on her had freed me. But now the cycle beckoned. Who was the villain?
Me.
Staring at the abyss. The drive's glow haunted my screen. A Pandora's box of Victor's sins. Wire transfers to Cayman shells. Coded as consulting fees, but metadata screamed payoffs. Mistresses, 3. At least. With penthouse leases in his name.
Alimonidade de via LLC shells.
One file even tied back to Apex's IPO. Inflated numbers to juice the stock. Watergate level if leaked. But buried under layers of deniability. Sarah's work? No, her access hadn't run that deep. She'd swiped it during a romantic getaway to his weekend place in the Hamptons. A USB heist born of spite post-engagement. I pocketed the drive. Pulse thundering. Dawn broke gray over the skyline. Coffee bitter on my tongue as I rode the subway to work. Apex thrummed oblivious, traders shouting at Bloomberg terminals, interns fetching lattes. Victor's office door loomed, half open, his laugh booming with some senator on speaker. He waved me in, face alight.
Hale.
Mergers ago, board ate your projections. You're a wizard, kid. The praise landed warm, undeserved. I nodded, throat tight, the drive burning in my slacks. Sarah waited in a coffee shop near the office, hood up, nursing an Americano like it was poison. Find anything? She asked, voice urgent. I slid into the booth, glancing at the barista's averted eyes. Enough to sink him. You knew, didn't you? All along. Her shrug was non-committal, nails tapping the mug. Love makes you blind. Or vengeful. What's it gonna be? Big Brother? Burn the king. Or wear his crown. The choice clawed deep. Victor had handed me redemption, a corner office, 6 figures, invites to galas where I'd once washed glasses. But he was rotten core deep, the kind of man who'd fire a single mom for a rounding error, then donate to orphanages for the tax write-off. Controversial? Hell yes, America's hero. The bootstrap billionaire, built on the backs of the broken. Leak it, and I'd topple a titan. But the fallout? SEC raids. Layoffs rippling through families like mine. No clean hands. Days blurred into strategy sessions. The merger pitch dominated, PowerPoints polished to a sheen. Roadshows in Chicago and LA where I'd charm VCs with stats I'd crunched in Prism math. Victor mentored. Ruthless. Hit him low.
Hale.
Mercy is for losers. His words echoed Sarah's old taunts, blurring lines. Nights, she'd slip into my apartment, takeout containers piling as we pored over the files. He's no better than me, she'd whisper, her hand brushing mine accidental on purpose. We could run it together. Harlan and Harlan, like Dad dreamed. Temptation festered. Sex happened once. Blame the bourbon. The shared scars, but it was mechanical. Ghosts rutting in the dark. Morning after. Regrets soured the sheets. This changes nothing, I said, dressing for work. She nodded, eyes distant. Everything's changed. The leak prep consumed me. Anonymous drops to journalists. Timed for post-merger scandal. But doubt gnawed. Victor's offhand kindnesses. Like comping my mom's old nursing home debt as a holiday gift. Was it guilt? PR? Or a thread of good in the rot? Sarah pushed harder. Her gigs drying up. Desperation sharpening her edge. Do it for Dad, she'd plead. He'd want justice. But Dad would have wanted family whole. Not this fractured revenge porn. Crisis hit mid-May. A board dinner at Per Se. Victor cornered me post-steak.
Scotch in hand.
You're off.
Hale. Distant.
Something eating you. His eyes probed, the shark sensing blood. I deflected. Just the grind. But he pressed, voice low. Sarah's been calling. Begging for a reference. Says you're helping her. That true? Lie or truth? The wire drive felt heavier. Family's complicated, I muttered. He nodded slow, clapping my shoulder. Tell me about it. My old man beat the bottle out of me till I was 16. Taught me, cut ties or get cut. Revelation hung. His Philly accent thickening with memory. For the first time, I saw the boy behind the suit, scarred, scheming to survive. Mirror to my own rage. Don't let blood drag you down. Son, he added. Genuine. You're better. That night, Sarah waited with pizza, eyes expectant. Leaked yet. I set the drive on the table. Deliberate.
No.
And we're done. Her face twisted. Betrayal's echo.
What?
After everything? He's poison. Tommy. She snatched it, bolting for the door. I grabbed her wrist. Twist igniting old prison reflexes. We grappled, crashing into the coffee table. Shards flying. Give it back, I snarled. She need me. Hard. Scrambling up. Fuck you. You're just like him. Weak. She fled into the night. Drive clutched like a talisman. I chased to the street. Rain slicking the pavement. Horns blaring. Lost her in the subway scrum. Panic surged. Had she sent it already? Victor's phone buzzed mine at 2 a.m. We need to talk.
Now.
His office at dawn. Blinds drawn. Coffee steaming untouched. Sarah emailed the board. The files. His voice flat.
Defeated.
Cups en route. SEC 2.
Shock rooted me. She.
Why? He laughed. Hollow. Why do any of us? Revenge.
Hale.
But you knew that. Cuffs came at noon. Cold steel biting wrists I'd freed once before. Victor in a separate car. Face pressed to glass. Mouthing sorry. Sarah? Vanished. A ghost tweet from a burner. Justice served. Merry late Christmas. The twist gutted. I'd saved him for her blade. Mercy my undoing. Jail again. White-collar wing this time. Suits swapping war stories. Victor plea bargained down. Ratting on rivals. Emerged 6 months later with a memoir deal.
Me?
18 months. Out on appeal technicality. Sarah surfaced in a true crime pod. The betrayed sister, spinning victim yarn to adoring fans. Controversial queen. Dividing listeners. Monster or survivor. I drifted west. Reno's casinos calling with their rigged odds. No family left. Just echoes. Was I right? Wrong? The gray blurred. Debate eternal. Revenge's end? A hollow win. Or none at all. Reno's neon haze welcomed me like an old con. All flash and false promise. I rented a studio above a pawn shop. Walls thin as lies. The slot machines jangle seeping through floors like a siren's call. Out on appeal, some forensic accountant spotting the drive's metadata as doctored. Sarah's hasty edit, but the stink clung. No job offers. No Victor's lifeline, his memoir. Shark in the Suit. Painted me as the loyal lieutenant, temporarily misled by kin. Bestseller. Of course.
Sarah spot? Toppet charts?
Her voice velvet-wrapped venom. Dissecting toxic masculinity in family dynamics. Listeners ate it. Debates raging on Reddit. Sarah says, or Tommy told you so. I avoided the feeds. Stuck to dive bars and day labor, wiring houses. The electrician's buzz numbing the brain. But nights? The what-ifs looped. If I'd leaked first. Claimed the kill. If I'd burned the drive. Let Victor rot alone. Mercy had chained me. Now freedom tasted like dust. Letters came sporadic. Victor's. Clipped and corporate. Apex rising. Door open if you want it. Sarah's? Postcards from Vancouver. Cryptic. We all bleed Harlan blood. Forgive. Forgiveness? The word soured. I crumpled them. Fed to the trash fire behind the shop. But the pull tugged. A hook and gill. 6 months in. A call from an unknown. Tommy Harlan? It's Mike's mom. Aunt, Lena. Cousin Mike's overdose had been the domino.
But Lena?
She'd vanished after the funeral. Grief's exile. Sarah's here, she said, voice quaver. With a girl. Says it's Mike's. Needs you. The baby. The erased one. Now 5. Dark curls and eyes like our old man's. Sarah in Vancouver. Rebuilding, but whispers said broke. Couch surfing Lena's trailer. I booked the red eye. Gut churning. Plane droned over Rockies. Landing in drizzle that mirrored my mood. Lena's place squatted on a res edge. Sagging porch strung with prayer flags. Sarah answered the door. Thinner. Lines etching her face like bad tattoos. You came, she said. No smirk, just weariness. The girl, Ellie, played with blocks inside, oblivious. Mike's, I asked, throat tight. Sarah nodded, scooping her up. Kept her secret till I couldn't. After Victor, the pod money dried, truth's expensive. We walked the muddy yard, Ellie toddling between. Her giggles a knife twist. Sarah spilled, the frame job born of panic. Mike's relapse funded by the siphon. The abortion lie to cover adoption scare. I thought you'd take the fall light, probation. Maybe. Dad's insurance would have bailed you. 5 years, I snapped.
Dad dead.
Mom gone. She flinched. Tears hot. I know.
I'm poison. Tommy.
But Ellie's clean. Help me give her better. Controversy coiled. Save the niece. Forgive the sister? Or walk? Let karma's will grind? Lena watched from the door. Eyes pleading. I stayed a week. Diapers. Bedtime stories. Sarah's hands shaking over bills. The bond reformed. Fragile.
But there.
Victor called twice. Voice probing. Heard you're playing uncle. Noble. But Apex needs you. Ops crisis.
Tempt.
The serpent. Back in Reno. The pole ward. I took a gig wiring a casino high-roller suite. Sparks flying like my thoughts. Ellie's photo on my phone. Sarah's text. Miss you. Victor's offer loomed. Power. Payback. The decision. Return east. But on my terms. Confront him. Demand shares. Not scraps. For Ellie. For Dad's ghost. New York swallowed me. Summer steam rising from grates. Apex's lobby gleamed. Security eyeing my faded jeans. Victor met me in a conference room. Not his office, neutral ground.
Hale.
Looking rugged. His suit screamed success. Merger sealed. But eyes wary. What now? Partnership? Or more skeletons? I laid it out. The drive was gone. Destroyed in Vancouver. No more games. Equity. 5%. Or I walk. And your loyal lieutenant story crumbles. He steepled fingers. Calculating. Bold. But fair. Handshake sealed. Papers drawn. Sarah got wind. Called furious. You're in bed with him again? After? It's business, I said. For the kid. Truce held. Tense. Ellie visited Summers. Her laughter filling my new condo overlooking Central Park. Sarah worked freelance.
Pot faded.
But resentment simmered. You're selling out, she'd accuse over wine. Fall brought the twist. Board leak. Not mine, Victor's old mistress. Jilted. Dumping ledgers to the Times. Scandal exploded. Stocks tanked. Feds raided. Victor called. Voice broken. They're coming for me. For all of us. Me included. Complicit in the cover. Sarah laughed bitter on speaker. Karma. Boys. Cuffs again? No, I flipped. Testified clean. Walked with immunity. Victor? 5 years. Iron bars his new suit. Sarah and I split the settlement scraps, raising Ellie in Queen's Row House Echo. Happy? No. Gray? Divided. Was justice served? Or just delayed? Readers, listeners, debate still. Hero? Villain? Or fool? Ellie's first school year dawned crisp. Yellow buses rumbling Queen's streets like metal beasts. Sarah and I co-parented uneasy, splitting custody in Dad's old house we'd bought back with Victor's hush money. Mornings, I'd braid her curls, clumsy fingers from years gripping mops. Not combs, while Sarah packed lunches, her eyes avoiding mine over coffee steam. Thanks, she'd mutter. The word loaded. Forgiveness? Not spoken, but lived in the small surrenders, her folding my laundry, me covering her therapy copays. Apex's ghost lingered. My 5% stake? Frozen in litigation hell. Lawyers feasting on the carcass. Victor wrote from Otisville. Letters scrawled on commissary paper. You played smart.
Hale.
Respect.
No grej.
Just chess master's nod. The press devoured it. The betrayed brothers. Revenge or redemption? Pundits picking sides. My face blurred on CNN. Sarah's pod rebooting for the sequel. Life normalized. Or its illusion. I took a consultant gig at a startup in Flatiron. Ethical AI bullshit that paid enough for braces and ballet slippers. Nights, Ellie'd climb into my lap, demanding the shovel story, my sanitized prison tale, turned fable of digging for treasure. Did you find it? Uncle Tommy, she'd ask, breath milk sweet. Gold, I'd lie, kissing her forehead. The best kind, but gold tarnishes. Sarah's resentment festered, bubbling in barbs. Consulting? You're slumming it. Scared of the big leagues. Truth stung, I was. Power's taste. Once savored. Soured to ash. One night. Post-parent-teacher conference. Ellie's A's glowing. We cracked a bottle of Dad's old rye. Why'd you flip on Victor? She asked. Loose-lipped. Could have ridden the wave. Kid needed stability, I said. Not scandals, she snorted. Refilling. Stability? Like you gave Dad? By taking his fall. The old wound ripped. Blood fresh. I took it for you, I shot. To keep his dream alive. Laughter bitter.
Dream?
You both destroyed it. Me included. Dawn brought hangover and horror. Her wrist. Slashed shallow but deliberate. Towels staunching in the bathroom. Ambulance wailed. Ellie at Lena's safe. Hospital wait. Fluorescent hell. Lena's hand in mine. She's broken.
Tommy.
Like Mike. Psych hold followed. Meds and mandatory talks. I visited daily. Reading Ellie's drawings through glass. Auntie sad? The girl asked later. Crayon smudged. A little. But healing. Sarah emerged caged. Therapy's leash. I wanted out, she confessed in group me invited. Awkward fly on wall. The guilt. It eats. Controversial catharsis. Her pod fans split. Some hailing vulnerability. Others crying manipulative bitch.
Me?
I listened. The betrayer betrayed by blood's frailty. Victor paroled early. Good behavior irony. First call. Lunch? Neutral turf. We met at a deli in Midtown. Pastrami greasy between us.
Grayer.
Suit looser, but eyes sharp. Missed the game, he said, chewing slow. You, I shrugged. Quiet's nice.
Lies.
The rush, the plots, the power, haunted dreams. He slid a card. New venture. Off books. You in. Temptation. Serpent Redux. Sarah caught wind. Eyes flashing at pickup. Don't. For her. Ellie. Oblivious. Chattering about recess. The divide deepened. Victor's world of shadows. Or this fragile light. I burned the card. But curiosity nibbled. Late googles. His venture. A crypto hedge. Whispers of insider trades. One email pinged. Anonymous. Sarah's style. He's using you again. Run. Paranoia bloomed. Confronted her. You hack me? Denial.
Tears.
Protecting us. Trust fractured. Ellie sensed. Clingy at bedtimes. Why auntie mad? Holiday loomed. Thanksgiving. Family redux. We gathered at Lena's. Turkey dry. Tension thick. Victor crashed it. Uninvited. Bottle of scotch in hand. Peace offering, he boomed. Face ruddy. Sarah froze. Fork midair. Get out.
He didn't. Sat.
Pouring rounds.
15 secondes chance.
Talk turned dark. His prison tales. Shank deals and shankings avoided. Ellie tucked early. But the adults spiraled, accusations flying. Wry loosening tongues. You framed me for her, I snarled at Sarah. And you used me for him, she fired back at Victor. He laughed.
Dark.
Family's a scam. But blood? That's the real con. Fistfight erupted, me and him. Chairs toppling. Lena screaming. Sarah joined. Nails on my arm. A tangle of limbs and old hates. Cops came. No arrests, domestic, but the photo op. Harlan trio in cuffs. Splashed tabloids. Revenge dynasty implodes. Ellie asked no questions. But her hugs tightened. Victor vanished again. Venture exposed as pump and dump. Sarah checked involuntary. For the kid.
Me?
Alone with crayons and ghosts. Wondering if the cycle broke or just paused. Winter clamped New York in ice. Streets slick as the lies we'd skated on. Ellie's Christmas list? Simple. Family all together. Santa's cruel joke. Sarah out in weeks. Medicated but mended. Co-parenting stiff as starched collars. Victor's dump scheme landed him house arrest. Ankle monitor chafing his Hamptons estate. Irony's gift wrap. My startup folded. Clients fleeing the Harlan curse headlines. Back to gigs. Coding freelance for shady apps. Cash under table. The dinner invite came encrypted. Victor's doing a Christmas do-over at a neutral Italian joint in Little Italy. One night. For closure, the note read. Sarah texted simultaneous. Don't go. Trap. Ellie. Drawing angels at the table.
Piped. Un clavic funo. Come.
Heart traitor. I agreed. The girl deserved illusions. Restaurant glowed festive. Red sauce simmering. Sinatra crooning low. Victor arrived first. Table for 4. Champagne chilling.
Hale.
Looking like a dad. The word landed odd. Ellie wasn't mine. But the role fit. Sarah swept in late. Ellie in tow. Her dress simple. Face guarded. This better not be a pitch, she warned. Settling. Victor raised glass. to surviving the Harlans. Awkward toasts followed. Ellie's chatter bridging gaps, school plays, snowmen. Wine flowed, guards dropping. Victor spun yarns, prison poker rings, bribes for better food. Learn more inside than Harvard, he chuckled. Sarah softened, reminiscing Mike's laughs. The cousins ghost a rare bridge.
Me?
Silent mostly, watching for the hook. It dropped post-pasta. Victor's voice low. The venture? It's legit now. Blockchain security, unbreakable. Need ops brain. 10% equity. Clean. Eyes on me. Then Sarah. You too. Redemption arc. She scoffed. But eyes flickered, bills piling. Therapy not cheap. Ellie yawned. Head on my lap. What's equity? The girl asked. Laughter broke tension.
But the seed planted.
Walk home through snow. Ellie between us. Mittens swinging. He's changed, Sarah murmured. Or desperate. I nodded. Arm around her shoulders, sibling instinct. Not more. We vote together? Truce.
Tentative.
Months thawed to spring. Venture, vetting consuming nights. Victor's pitch deck gleamed. Ethical hacks?
White hat promises.
Background checks cleanish, his plea deals sealed records. Sarah Dovin. Her ops savvy shining. Ellie cared for Bylina. We three, plus kid, a warped family unit. Meetings in his monitored mansion. Ocean views, mocking confinement. Success brewed. Beta launch.
Você beaches.
Stock whispers. But cracks spidered. Late email from Victor. Sarah's solid. But watch her old habits. Paranoia? I confronted. Her denial sharp. He's gaslighting. Like always. Tit-for-tat surveillance. Her checking my phone. Me her laptop. Ellie caught a fight. Tears. Stop yelling. Like mommy's pod. Guilt crushed. Pulled back. Focused work. Launch party. June yacht on the sound. Glittering crowd. Deals sealed over caviar. Victor cornered me below deck. She's leaking again. To the feds. Proof. Screenshot. Anonymous tip on our IP. Sarah? Denying. Furious. He's framing me. For the equity. Divide fractured. Believe blood or boss. I stalled. Hired PI neutral. Report dropped bomb. Victor's monitor tampered. Early release bot.
Sharas tip.
Legit. His dump scheme's loose end. But twist. She'd known. Used it for leverage, her own play for control. Confrontation exploded at the mansion. Ellie napping upstairs. You both used me. I roared. Papers flying. Victor lunged. Ankle beeping warning. Sarah screamed. Grabbing a lamp, base heavy. Swing connected. Crack on his skull. Blood bloomed. Him crumpling. Call 911, she shrieked. I did. Pulse roaring. Cops swarmed. Manslaughter charges pending. Victor survived. Concussion. But pressed. Attempted. Sarah cuffed.
Sobbing.
For Ellie, for us.
Me? Witness stand looming.
Divided testimony, the key. Trial summer swelter. Courtroom fans wearing lies. Prosecution painted her monster. Me co-conspirator. Defense. Self-defense. Victor's abuse history. I testified gray. She swung to protect. Jury split. Hung first. Retrial bitter. Victor settled out. Dropped charges for NDA silence. Sarah walked. Scarred but free. Ellie clung tighter. Questions unspoken. Is Auntie bad? No answer fit. We moved west. Vancouver with Lena, fresh snow. Old wounds. Victor faded. Empire dust.
A happy ending? No. Tragic armistice.
Debate eternal. Was her swing justice? Or cycle's peak? Vancouver's rains washed clean. Or pretended. We settled in a cedar house on the inlet, fog rolling off waters like memory's veil. Ellie started school. French immersion. Her accent charming as she chattered about Poisson and playground kings. Sarah worked remote ops for a green tech firm, ironic, laundering her image in sustainability.
Me?
Consultant again. Blockchain gigs from afar. Victor's ventures echo without the rot. Lena mothered fierce. Smudging sage in the yard. Invoking Mike's spirit for the little one. Family dinners stretch long.
L'auteur tentative.
But real. Ellie's giggles the glue. Nightmares lingered. Sarah's thrashing from dreams of lamps and blood. My own of cells and carving knives. Therapy group.
Co-ed.
Dissected it. Revenge as addiction. Nods all around, but no cure. Twist came autumn. Leaves crimson as old wine.
Package arrived.
No return, USB drive. Labeled truth. Plugged in. Heart sinking, files. Victor's final play. Recordings, our mansion fights. Edited to frame Sarah's instability, her swing premeditated. Backup plan. Insurance against her leak. But deeper, DNA report. Ellie's. Father? Not Mike. Victor Kane. World tilted. Confronted Sarah over tea. Drive wearing proof. Her face ashen.
Cup shattering.
One night. After the engagement party.
He
Forced the issue. Mike was gone. I was lost. Rape kit buried. Shame's chain. Told no one. Kept her for him. In secret. Rage boiled, not at her, but him. Victor. Free in Hampton's haze. Untouchable. Call to his lawyer. Threats empty. NDA iron. But the report? Leverage gold. Leaked anonymously to his board. Me Too wave cresting late. Scandal 2.0. Fintech Titan's dark legacy. Stocks cratered. Lawsuits snowballed. Victor suicided in his study. No blaming betrayals. Aftermath. Sarah broke. Then rebuilt. Pod finale. Survivor's reckoning. Raw and redemptive. Fans divided. Villain vindicated. Or opportunist. Ellie learned gentle. Uncle Vic sick in head. We healed fractured. Therapy scaffold. House sold. Moved to Seattle. Tech hub. Fresh codes. Years blurred. Ellie teen. Coding her own apps. Asking once. Was revenge worth it?
Dad.
Not blood. But role claimed. Sometimes yes. Sometimes no. Debate lives in her eyes. The gray we all share. Ending?
No bow.
Tragic in its ambiguity. Justice a mosaic. Shard sharp. We live. Scarred but standing. The Harlan's unbroken. Or remade. You decide.